Okay, so I'm redoing this one. I actually did it yesterday. This is the 250 difficulty new Torment dungeon, but I forgot to use poison damage on the Thunder Gigas, so I did not get mastery and I had to redo it. Just before this fight started, during the final round of Trash Mobs, I had renewed Divine Guardian and Stone Skin, so I just threw up Tyro's BSB there for Protect and Shell and a Magic Blink, and basically using him for the dance moves you can use, Multi-Break and Heathen Frolic Cerebonde, which significantly reduces their damage from their spells, and with Shelga, Stone Skin 2, and Divine Guardian, they're basically, it's just a little more than a tickle. So, for the damage, I didn't bring any AoE abilities with me for the Trash Mobs. So basically, during the first round, I just had Garnet cast Protect, and then I just had everybody defend until everybody had at least one Soul Break gauge. It's a tactic that's been around for a while. I only just learned about it myself, but it came in really handy for this fight. So then I would just alternate using Rydia and Renoa with their burst soul breaks to bring down the Trash Mobs. And by the time I got to this fight, they both had at least one, and possibly two bars for the soul break. And see, I used Rydia mostly for her AoE attack, her command 2, which is 2 earth damage attacks to all targets, which came in really handy since all these guys have a slight weakness to earth. And for Renoa, I just used her to do poison, hit her with chain poison, chain fire, and her command 2 for her burst does ice, so I was able to fulfill all the requirements. And at that point it didn't matter how much damage I took, because I was still going to be able to get mastery. So it's just a matter of wearing them down, keeping everybody healed up, and making sure I remember to renew that damage mitigation. Okay, the way this video plays out while I'm recording the narration, it is actually looks like it's on double speed, or not quite double speed, but faster than normal, so it's a little hard to tell exactly what's going on. But basically, anytime their commands ran out, because they're constantly taking damage from the AoE spells, their soul breaks are being rebuilt. So I never did not have the option to use one. And with Garnet, in addition to her Divine Guardian, I had her, I forget the name of it, her Super Soul Break that raises everybody's magic and defense a little bit, raises magic a moderate amount, defense a small amount, and gives them an HP pool of 3,000. And then I would just use I brought Yuna's burst for, actually her second burst, which is way better than her first one, actually, just to give her a little bit of extra healing power. Of course, I had Ishtola's Asylum, but I think I only used it once in this fight. Ended up not really needing it that much. But with just the basic damage mitigation and the command 2 for Yuna's burst soul break was enough to keep everybody alive for most of the fight. Okay, here you can see the Thunder Gigas is getting worn down faster than the other two. So I think at this point I laid off of him a little bit and just only hit him with Rydia's AoE, and just concentrated on the other two using Chain Fire and Renoa's Command 2 from her burst for ice and fire damage. Well, except for when I actually had to renew her burst, that hits everybody. But in this fight, it's not. It's the mechanics are a little different than in the 200 one. In the 200 difficulty, the Ice Gigas counters almost every attack with his AoE Blizzard spell, which is quite dangerous. So actually, I think this fight is actually easier than the 200. I believe these guys actually have less HP than their 200 difficulty counterparts. So yeah, here the Thunder Gigas is actually in danger of dying too soon. I don't think it matters, but somebody in a group I'm in on Facebook was telling me that you need to kill them all at the same time. I don't remember reading that in Dr. Mog's tips, but I figured why not. I had enough AoE and the right single target skills to be able to bring them all down at the same time. With all the damage mitigation I have between Shell, Stone Skin, Divine Guardian, and the one time I used Asylum, basically that just didn't need any accessories that resist elements. One of my guys there, I think Tyro, has something that resists one of the elements. It's either fire or ice. I don't remember which one. This fight is actually one of those instances where Burst Soul Break is better than the Overstrike. I have Rydia's Overstrike. In fact, I have all of Rydia's Soul Breaks except for one of her older ones, Shimmering Mist or something like that. Does not. It's not even a super. It's like one of her early ones that I missed out on. But I have her Odin Soul Break, Shiva, her Burst, and her Overstrike. So she's actually one of my better mages. I've actually got 3 soul breaks for Rinoa as well, but 2 of them are her older ones, her Angel Quake and the Brothers, both of which do earth damage. I don't have any of her super soul breaks or her Overstrike, but for fights like this, her Burst Soul Break is one of my better options. And I have Garnet's Burst Soul Break as well, but it's pretty useless in this fight. Holy and Lightning damage are not going to be that much use against these guys. And her Command 2 is the only one that does healing, and I felt I actually might need a second healer. I could have brought a third mage instead of Garnet, but instead of doing, then I would have wanted to seek out a Garnet roaming warrior, but I figured this was actually a better option. I would just have her as a backup healer, in addition to Y'shtola, but she actually ended up being more my primary healer, because the Soul Break that increases everybody's magic and gives them the reserve healing, I ended up using that more than I used Y'shtola. I just mostly used her to renew Stone Skin. Right here at the very end, coming up here in a second, they're going to hit me, and I had actually forgot to renew Stone Skin or Divine Guardian in a while, so they actually almost killed me, but nobody ended up dying. It's just a couple of my characters got really close. And I think it actually went through the barrier. Yep, you see, here it goes. Yep. A couple of my characters got really close. But I believe this attack right here is what actually ended up killing them. Yep, and there they go. Brought all 3 down at the same time. A lot easier than just doing them one at a time. Yeah, there we go. Took more actions than necessary, but ended up working out. I got 2 major power orbs, so that's pretty nice. I might actually need to farm these a bit.